right, good evening, class. Today we are learning 1-7, compute with scientific notation. And what that really means is just doing math while in scientific notation. Our learning intentions today is going to be able to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division while using scientific notation. Let's get into it. All right, so first things first with 1-7, we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing when using scientific notation. So when we multiply and divide scientific notation, it's a two-step process. Step one, multiply or divide your coefficients. The coefficients are the numbers in front of your base 10, so 3.5 and 4.0. If we multiply those together, 3.5 times 4, you should get 14. Now, the second part is going to be using that product or quotient rule on your base 10. Now, this is multiplication, so we're going to use the product rule, which means we're going to just add 6 plus 9 and get 15. That's really it, but this is not your final answer. Because if you remember from 1-6 notes, your coefficient has to be equal to or greater than 1 or less than 10. 14.0 is greater than 10, so you need to move that decimal over 1 to the left, raising your exponent and giving you your final answer of 1.40 times 10 to the 16th power. All right, let's go through an example. All right, as you can see here, we are dividing this time. We are dividing 4.0 times 10 to the 5th, all divided by 5.0 times 10 to the 2nd. Now, if we go to the next slide, we can see the next step is once again just separating the coefficient and our base 10s. The coefficient we are just going to divide because that's what this problem is. And with our base 10s, we're going to use the quotient rule this time, which means subtracting our exponents because this is division. So let's go to the next slide and see what that looks like. Well, 4 divided by 5 is 0.8. 5 minus 2 is 3. Now, once again, we are not done because our coefficient is smaller than 1. It must be between 1 and 10. So we need to move it to the right one. And when we move it to the right one, our exponent will go down, meaning our final answer is 8.0 times 10 to the 2nd power. All right, so this is the last little section of notes for the unit. Let's figure it out. So to add and subtract with scientific notation, you are just going to rewrite your numbers so that the exponents on each base 10 have the same value. And what I mean by that is before you can do anything, you must rewrite your numbers, so 2.10 times 10 to the 3rd and 3.30 times 10 to the 4th, to where they both have the same exponent on their base 10. As you can see, your second expression has a 4, your first one has a 3. They both need to be the same. Doesn't matter which one you make match, the 3 can become a 4 or vice versa, they just have to be the same. In this example, I went ahead and made them both 3. Now I made the 4 go down to a 3 by moving the decimal over 1 to the right. Now, once you are in this situation, you have both expressions to the same power, the same magnitude. You simply do the math. 2.10 plus 33. That should give you 35.1 times 10 to the 3rd. Once again, bigger than 10, unacceptable. You have to rewrite. Make it 3.51 times 10 to the 4th now. We move the decimal over 1 to the left, so your exponent will go up. All right, let's go through the last example and we're done. All right, so in that first one, we added. So we're going to subtract. So by the end of the notes, you should have an example of all 4 operations, and we should know what we're doing. All right, so let's see. We got 1.45 times 10 to the 9th minus 2.84 times 10 to the 8th. So remember, step 1 is to make sure these exponents match. 9 and 8 do not match. We cannot subtract yet. We have to make those the same. I believe I'm going to lower my exponent 9 down to 8, which means I have to move my decimal. And as you can see, that's what we did here. So we moved the decimal 1 to the right, bringing our 9 down to an 8. Now our exponents match. 10 to the 8th, 10 to the 8th. Now all you have to do is subtract your coefficients. So 14.5 minus 2.84. If I get my pen working, we might actually be able to change the slide. Here we go. So 14.5 minus 2.84 times 10 to that 8th power now because we made them match. That computes to 11.66 times 10 to the 8. Same story we've been in all notes. That is not an acceptable answer. You need to move the decimal 1 to the left, raising your exponent, right? So your final answer should be 1.17 times 10 to the 9th. All right, so you can go ahead and do example problems or practice problems 1 through 4 on page 61 of your textbook. Or if you want, you can use your e-textbook and just show me the work on a piece of loose leaf. You do not need your textbook page. All right, you can also do the GIM kits that I will assign tomorrow. Have a good day and enjoy not having notes for a couple weeks.